that elusive thing is something we discover and ride? Or is it like Mark Zuckerberg? You build this little Facebook, you build it right, then it works, then you hit the lottery. Because I've always felt there's got to be an organic visitation. You know, like the Virgin Mary there when she gets laid from the angel, and, it's a visitation. It came to me, Mary, in the night. What did? Well, the angel got on top of me like Rosemary's Baby, whacked away, and says we're having Jesus Christ in a manger. We're having Jesus Christ in a manger. What are you talking about? We're not even married. I don't care. The angel was great in bed. This visitation. Do great things get stumbled upon, or are great things constructed? What's your thought on that after meeting all these greats?
Oh, I walked away with them with no answers. And that was one of the hardest parts of making the film, because I had no answers except for to keep going. And it took me quite some time. I lost the film. It got buried. It got shut down. And I lost comedy because I asked too many questions in the comedy business. So Michael Moore said, "You must have made a great film because you got banned at every club in the country." And so what has happened, I think, though, is that there came a point where, this last year, so much has changed for me. I did one show. I told the truth. And now there's some people trying to build me a sitcom right now. And it's just off of one show. And I think what's happened is I kind of got back to, what my spiritual foundation is. And because you start to see everything in your life can, if you're not doing the right thing, I do believe everything in your life will fall away. And it will craft you it'll craft you, and with something. You're getting shaped, and it's like a ball of clay getting shaped into something, and you might not even know what it is. But things will shut off from your life that don't belong there, and they will remove themselves.
Right. Well, this whole thing about them falling away altogether if things are wrong. Could we just keep the interview on you and not on me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, oh my God, are we switching to me now about how everything in my life?
And that's what I'm finding is I ended up, and it's so funny because it just this I believe always I'm a to each his own person, and each person has their own kind of method of spiritual. At one minute where they find it, I had a roommate, actually it was a comedian who had no place to sleep, was helping me with a project, slept on my couch, and she was always so positive. So she takes me to this church in Hollywood. It's actually a black church. Stevie Wonder gets on the stage and starts performing.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. But it was like he's a non-religious guy.
Right.
And he was talking about purpose awakening and finding your purpose.
Right.
And that there are creative artists in the world that are given the art for a purpose. And you can put, if you want to, whatever the chi or universe or God or just energy or positive energy or whatever word you want to put on that, or if it's just truth. We're discussing this whole interview is pretty much based on truth and finding truth. Well, if you add to truth or what you're doing, and your talent might be that you're a great accountant, and your ability to see those numbers clearly, to bring truth, could save people. It saves people's homes.
Right on. That's what I believe. I believe that. Right. It doesn't matter which area you operate in. If you bring this extra energy, that's always what emerges. That's what the mover is. That's the catalyst.
It keeps the pain of the disappointments, because I think life just it can be so exhausting, and there's so much fear. There's just so much fear, and that fear can pull away from, that fear pulls away from everything. It pulls away from your ability to be, creative, your ability to help people, your ability to just feel grateful for things in your life. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I've had as an artist, to be able to go out and be funny again, regardless of what's going on.
And that comes back to what we were talking about earlier. That is a joy. It really is a joy when it's on 8 cylinders and they feel you and they're laughing with you and you know you can pour it on. You know, oh, I got a little more for this. Oh, man, you like that sauce? Let me put a little more on your plate right there. And they,
yeah.
Then they're holding it.
But the pain has to stop to be able to do that. So whatever it is that gives you that, like there's a distaste that comes when you see a lie, and there's a pain that comes when you see lies. Like another example, where it seems like there's no more marriage anymore.
Right.
It seems like there's no more like loyalty between people. We've become a very me society, and I think all of the TV shows, almost everything, pushes that agenda. I think that we're so broken apart, and that disturbs me. So that could be a good place to work on.
Wow.
For carrying that message. So the question then becomes, can I accumulate enough statements about that? And then how do I make that funny? But I have to take the sting out.
Wow. You are good. You are just good, man. That is, you are now, so you did no research on me. You have no idea that
I sat over dinner with Duncan J, and Duncan J was oozing. I did not even have to. He really he talked about how much you've just inspired him and motivated him, and he just, I've heard so much about you. I feel like I know.
You know what I am? I'll tell you what I am in plain English. I'm an alligator wrestler. Okay? The most difficult, vexing, and destructive forces that I've identified in my 40 years on the air since I was 19, all of them, I've just thrown myself at the beast and said, for the good of if the beast eats me, they'll see how to not get eaten. If I beat the beast, we get one out of the way, and then there's 99 more coming at us. But I have been on this thing. You just said it so beautifully. What happened to marriage? What happened to loyalty? This whole thing about it, I got to be from the housewives, full of Botox and everything. Then it makes me, then I get ugly enough that I'm worthless in a meaningful relationship. Let me get a superficial relationship. Let me get a substance abuse habit, and then I'll get a TV show just like a brilliant comedian. It's a sick abuse of what was a tried and true, millions of years, a place to find love, a place to find inspiration, a place to find what you talk about. I love your theme today. Finding your better self, finding something, getting past what's so obviously horrible and deteriorative. We're in a deteriorative period, man. If you stand still, they just start eating away. So I love that you brought this up. I love that you did, because it's so basic. It's so real. Yeah.
I think that even comes back around to Cosby, because I think what, to me, is very disturbing is these are women who knew he was married. For some reason, we're always going back to his hotel room.
Right.
I said, who hands someone a roofie? Then they're a rapist. If you hand someone a roofie, who allows you to take pictures while you're in a hotel room, and then the rapist is going to leave the camera with the photos?
Aye.
This was a man who had a lot at stake. And I guarantee you, by the time they're done, we'll be up to about 50 women. So you're talking about 50 women, a black man at a time where, black men are still getting lynched by the police and other scenarios, but you're talking about the time period, which we knew was the most dangerous time period. He was completely aware. He lived through the time where he knew about the Emmett Tills. He knew about. This wasn't a man who did not understand what was at stake.
Right.
It didn't mean that he had the cleanest life, but he knew what was at stake. Do I think he was involved with these women? Yeah, I think that. I don't think that he was this pristine man. Men in Hollywood were always, that's what men were. This is what women, when you get older, learn. That's what men do. But this man was married, and so, the question then becomes, well, what were they doing there in the first place?
Right. If you're going to be all horrified about it, then you're horrified from the moment he asks you. You're like, oh, geez, no, oh God, I could never do that. No, it's
they wanted to play the line. Period.
Exactly,
now, here's the other thing: is what are the 15-year-olds that are complaining about the Gloria Allred's got? That were at the Playboy Mansion. What were they doing? The Playboy party wasn't like an Easter Bunny party. Do you know what I mean? They make it like there were 15-year-olds playing Easter egg hunt at the Playboy Mansion.
That is what they told. They told me that. My invitation said. My invitation said that. Damn it! God damn it!
And the thing is, why isn't Hugh Hefner in trouble for having 15-year-olds at the Playboy Mansion?
Thank you.
So here we are. We're talking about these are the women that we believe. The women who are women that have respected the boundaries. I'm not saying that he wasn't a womanizer, but so if that's going to be the case, we might also throw half of Hollywood under the bus. Because that's Hollywood.
And people get to make their own decisions without the public weighing in, or some nosy body who one time got flirted with by a husband has nothing really to say about this. Maybe they are in their own personal hell. They don't have to share it with you. They don't have to go public with their personal disgusting whatever. You know, I looked at Camille Cosby a couple of weeks ago when he did that interview where little Scott Simon from Public Radio goes, "Mr. Cosby, I have to ask you this. I know nobody wants to..." And Bill Cosby waves him off. No. Well, they showed a video of Camille sitting there. And I have heard about Camille because I have all these records. From when I was a kid, I knew his wife's name is Camille. So I'm saying to myself, here's Camille, who looks like, I don't know, she's beautiful. She's elegant. She
looks like Lena Horne.
Right? Thank you. She's like Lena Horne when she was on 60 Minutes with Ed Bradley and they were having goo-goo eyes. Right. She was so incredible. I said, how dare you? How dare you question her? If anybody's carrying anything in terms of weight and burden, it's her. But, you know, that's unseen today. It jumped out at me like right to my eyeballs. I said, I know nobody else watching this clip is feeling anything about her. They won't see a real life. They just see a target on a wall that vents their anger. They can put their... Anyway, are you ever going to join me again like this? I would
love it.
I hope you will, because we've only begun. We have only just begun to tackle the world here. Now, please direct people. How do we get a look at that film? Are we not allowed to see it right now? Does some version exist somewhere? What's the word, Sugarbird, on that film?
Right now, it's been a little bit buried. So I kind of have some people that are giving me some trouble over it, but I don't want the kind of trouble they've brought me.
Okay, but you're the gatekeeper. We check with you.
I'm the gatekeeper. I may sneak it out sometime, but right now they've punished me enough to know how dangerous it is for me to be walking around in Los Angeles with that film out.
God, right.
It was just funny because it's a movie about comedy, right?
Exactly.
So you think what would be the big drama? But whatever.
They're treating you like that guy when that Benghazi video came out. Remember, like 2 days later, they went to some guy's house in Los Angeles. They threw him in a car, and they go, "This is the guy that put out the Benghazi video." Then 2 days later, the Benghazi video had nothing to do with it. Let the guy go. And I was like, my God, in America, if they think your film is a problem, they just throw you in a car. So
yeah, I've been in that car ride. So.
That's what I'm saying. You are my hero. Can I just say that? You're my hero.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're great for my young listeners to hear. They should hear where you're at. They should get an insight. They should get a good look. No matter what their profession is, no matter what they're going to do, you are way of doing in this world, and I'm really happy to know you. Maya DeGiorgio, and easiest one is funnymaya.com. Can we use that one?
Funnymaya.com, yeah.
And we're going to spell it M-A-I-J-A, so FUNNYMAIJA.com.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, I know you're gonna have a great day. I could tell.
Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you again.
You're so much fun. It'll be real soon. I'm going to call you real soon. Maya DeGiorgio, Ed Tyll Show, Starcom Radio Network. She's terrific. All right. See, now you say, where can you just do that all day? Can you have a bunch of those that go on the entire day? Could you just change the show around and talk to smart, really brilliant, insightful, hardworking, baby? If you want to know about show business is work. Yeah, they go, well, I went into show business because I didn't want a job. Well, then you're going nowhere in show business. Bad boys and bad girls build good roads. Pat Horgan.
Breaking rocks in the hot sun. You know what I mean. Busting locks in the hot sun. You know what I mean. With the man on the chain gang. You know what I mean.
Starcom Radio Network. AM/FM stations across America. Part 15 Radio says, I say what I want. Maya DiGiorgio turning it up, baby. That's the heat, right? Tomorrow, Duncan J will be with us live. I love Duncan. He's funny, he's real, and he's also the salt of the earth. Duncan comes from the places like Volusia County, Brevard County. He comes from where it's real, man. That's right. Duncan J, a terrific comedian, tomorrow live on the Ed Tyll Show. Also tomorrow, I got another treat for you.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Show. Dr. Jack Caravelli is one of the smartest guys around when it comes to international relations, okay? He served on Bill Clinton's national security staff. What does that mean? That means all the nuts and bolts of how to keep us safe in the world. That was his job. He will comment on terrorism in France. And our challenge, what do we do now that the bad guys are on the move? That's tomorrow.
Serving time on the man's dime. You know what I mean? The county line is a safe line. You know what I mean? Bad boys have built good roads. Bad boys have built good roads. Bad boys have built good roads.
You know, Wall Street's going to start to kick in now for the new year. You're going to stop seeing the leftovers from 14, and I think the Dow is up.
Got a lot of great operations here in the U.S. They can run heavy, they can run light, and
oh my God, crude is down again. Crude is below 45 a barrel. This is amazing. You know it's not going to last. It's being done deliberately. We're being played here, but who cares? I'll take it as long as it's cash coming our way.
Thanks, Tyler. I think it's important to point out that our buys are based on a 12-month outlook. So the next few months are going to be pretty sloppy, but I think we are making a base here in many of these stocks. So for investors with a 12 to 18-month time horizon, the big cap stocks, in particular Schlumberger and Halliburton, are these are good price levels, good valuation levels on a full cycle basis to be looking at these names. And I think over the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see 20 to 30% upside in these names.
So those two would be the ones you would like, Schlumberger, and the other one was Halliburton.
That's correct. I would point out, too, that because of the pending acquisition of Baker Hughes, buying Baker here is a cheap way of getting Halliburton a year or so from now. There's about a 12% spread, ARB spread on the two based on deal value. So essentially, buying Baker today is like buying Halliburton at 33.
Michael, Carl, thank you very much. Quick answers. We appreciate it. CSX kicking off the earnings season later today for the railroad stocks, and let's take a look, if we might, at CSX shares, and there you see them down about 1/3% on the day today at 33.80.
This is the Ed Tyll Show.
Yeah. We gotta talk, baby. You gotta get over here. Get over here. I gotta talk to you. Who is this girl on the Ed Tyll Show? What's all that? She talking some smack.
So you wanna jump out your trick?
Maya DiGiorgio, man alive, huh? That's enough right there. That, you know what? She totally makes up for Joan Rivers. I'm okay now, since Joan Rivers had to leave us, and Joan Rivers worked down to the end. She worked her fingers to the bone, baby.
What is hip? Tell me.
Ed Tyll Show, Starcom Radio Network. All right, so I'm going to reach out to Jonathan, and then we're going to catch up on police officers being real people, which is a network-wide commitment we've been focusing on now for the past several weeks. and it is, to me, fascinating. You listen to Maya, and you say, well, it makes a lot of sense. The people I complain about on the anchor desk, right? I can't stand that Brooke Baldwin, that Carol Costello, all that girly news. Part 15 radio is so perfect as a corrective measure for what is wrong with the mainstream media. And even mainstream comedy. Who in God's name wants to know squat about mainstream? Mainstream is what they used to call mind candy. You get no nutrition. You just keep sticking it in your mouth, and eventually you get sick from it because it's empty. Because it leaves you weak and empty. I am so against weak and empty. I just, I never liked their morning show. Maya DiGiorgio is my new hero because I lost a hero yesterday, you know. Little Amy Dalton is gone. And I love, bombastic or truth-telling comedians. I hate the comedians that show business likes on the inside. Okay, so I have my setup and punchline. Can I get out of here? Oh, shut up. Just go to the VIP room, will you? Yeah, can I meet Rob Lowe? You went into comedy so you could meet Rob Lowe? Yes, I love his Dish Network commercials. He's so funny. I loved him on West Wing. Ed Tyll Show. Starcom Radio Network. Also, scmtv.net. You should be watching us live on SCM. You got those letters? S as in star, C as in com, M as in media, T as in tele, and then V as in vision. SCMTV.net. I still got to get a hold of George Martinez because he's up there in Alaska, and I really should be connecting with this guy. He's a terrific addition to the network because of his reach into the 49th, right? 50 is Hawaii, right? Like, oh yeah. So do you want to make Hawaii a state? Oh, I don't know. Will it make it easier for me to go to Hawaii? I think so. Make it a state. Come on. You got California beaches. You got Florida beaches. Let's get some Hawaiian beaches. Yo, beaches, what's up? Where's the beaches at? Beaches? Yo, Hawaii, what's that? What's all that? Hi, my name is Barry Obama. Welcome to Hawaii. Mr. President, is this what you're doing now? Well, I've always liked tourism, and I like to go surfing, and Sasha and Malia are working on the mainland, and I'm just out. Michelle is out losing weight with America, and I'm just surfing by it's what I've always wanted. Mr. President, I think there's some guys here. They say they're the Chum Chum Gang. Send them right in. Yes. Last year, Ed Tyll says you should look into a real estate investment trust. It's called a REIT. And people said, Ed, you're nuts.
30% from a year ago, these REIT stocks, which has some wondering if they might be a tad overheated. Now, I spoke to David Toti at Cantor.
Now, if I'm your advisor and I told you last year to go into a REIT and the REIT now is overheated, that means you've made more than your fair share. You would now say, thank you, Ed. Thank you for the soundbite.
Fundamentals, namely rising real estate property values, can actually weather an interest rate rise. Professor Sam Shandon at Wharton says investors have to be far more discerning, though.
Well, investors won't be discerning. So what you'll do is you take your money, you take your profit, and you sit there and wait for the next good thing. But when Ed Tyll tells you a year and a half ago that you should look into a REIT, and you go, what is a REIT? And I go, a real estate investment trust. I said, it's a 4-letter thing. Look it up in Wikipedia. Oh, I don't know. Oh, that sounds good, but I don't know. It's up 30%. It's up 30% since last year when I told you to do it. If you never would have heard of it and only did what I told you, you'd have a 30% increase in the amount that you invested. Congratulations to anybody who did this.
Some modest growth expected for the fourth quarter, but 2 stocks in particular in the S&P are expected to drive the bulk of earnings per share growth. We're going to have those names and which ones are the biggest drags coming up next after the break on Power Lunch, so keep it right here.
You see what I love? I love this. To me, that's the most exciting part of the whole show right there. When you hear that somebody somewhere is making money or did the right thing and is moving themselves forward. Every special announcement I make to you is either about your own well-being or about your financials or something.
What is hip?
That's why it's hip. It's hip means being smart. Hip means being alert to what's going on. Are you alert? Are you paying attention? Are you in it? Do you see what's going on? Do you appreciate your role in what's going on? Not a spectator, but as a participant. Man, that Maya DiGiorgio, I have she's not a doppelganger because she's so beautiful and she's so exotic. I'm kind of plain, but she's got it. You know, next time I have her on, I thought about this at the end of the interview. She reminds me a great deal of what I'm learning about Robert De Niro, where the parents have this amazing talent, somewhat unrecognized, certainly not famous and wealthy, but extraordinary talent. And in the DNA, it shows up in the next generation. It's fascinating because it's better. It's naturally been developed. It's Ed Tyll.